Alright. Hey guys, welcome back to another RPG vlog. Or welcome to the very first video of this newer revamped RPG vlog series. Uh, the reason I say that is because of how different essentially everything looks, as well as everything has been built compared to last time. I know it's been a while, way too long since the last time I made a video, and that, you guys were so desperately waiting for this next one, and for that, I'm actually really sorry. There were many factors regarding my long absence, but the main ones really include school and how busy that it was keeping me. I was busting my ass off just trying to make the most out of what I could for the quarter, making sure that I got good grades, making sure I was hanging out with my friends and my girlfriend, trying to get more involved, and so it was really hectic, especially when a lot of my coding projects were just focused on, the ones provide or school projects as well as the game projects I was obligated to, and they were which was taking more precedence over my personal ones like this. And despite not being able to put a lot of my time into the game, I'm very glad that I chose to do what I did, because now I'm feeling so much more fulfilled. I'm doing research on a VR Unity project. I'm officially an officer for my school's video game development club, which I love so much. And I've just been making really cool friends, been going out on more dates with my girlfriend, and I just feel a lot more fulfilled and happier all around with my life. And I don't know why I went on that spiel, but I thought maybe whoever's watching might be interested in what I was doing. Um, since the last time you guys heard from me, I know all the recent videos I've posted were just gameplay of some of the things I was doing, and they weren't really me talking. So, for anyone who was interested in, what was going on with my life, I thought um, it would be nice to share to them. Well, anyways, back to the RPG. Now, um, despite all this time having been passed, that does not mean I wasn't working on this RPG. Definitely over the first few weeks after the last RPG video I had posted, I went in, I think, like early January. I definitely went straight into implementing networking within the game. I was using Photon. I first made my environments, and then I modularized them into different scenes, and then I wrote up my scene management stuff, and then I began writing my networking code. However, this ended up being a very frustrating and fruitless effort. Oh, excuse me. As um, the massive refactoring that I had to do in order to accommodate for communicating with the server ended up creating so many different bugs. And it was one of those cases where, if I fixed one bug, then three more would pop up. And honestly, this was really just due to the fact that I just wrote some really bad code. I I wasn't accounting for all the sorts of dependencies I was introducing when I was adding in different features. I was just trying to make things work, I guess. When I was writing, I was thinking much in the short term and never like in the sort of long-term effects I would have, and which ultimately I guess is why it ended up like this, where I tried to change some things, and then because of that, a lot of things would break, or just the logic of how I wrote things just made it almost impossible to pull apart in order to salvage it. And so ultimately, while I was working throughout the quarter just trying to fix these things, I was just growing more and more disappointed in how much I had limited myself uh, with the architecture I created. And um, I guess that's why I just decided I'll just take what I had learned from making the game and then just break apart each of the components that and figure out what worked and then translate these components onto a new slate where which would be this project that you see right here, where I'd be sort of smarter about how I went about writing my code in a way that's much more scalable for the kind of project I want this to be, as a you know as a fully fledged RPG game. And so this is the culmination of what you of what I've been doing since the last time, and how I've just been slowly adding in the features that I thought um, made sense and would give me a good foundation in order to build up. And so with this project I wanted to adapt a particular pattern. This pattern I followed was called the component pattern, in which entities within the game, such as the player or the enemy AI, they would not consist of very massive scripts containing all of their sort of different behaviors or the data that they have, but rather they would just be broken. All of these things would be broken down into modular pieces. That way, these entities wouldn't have big scripts, but rather these entities would just contain many different smaller scripts. For example, like I said, rather than having one massive player script, the player would instead be comprised of all these different scripts, such as a movement script, attacking script, a health script, a savable entity script, and all that stuff, which ultimately it made things so much more easier to navigate through the code, as well as allowed me to generalize all these different smaller scripts. That way the enemy AI would be able to use them as well, because they're not dependent on all these smaller components aren't dependent on the particular entity that these scripts are supposed to be for, but rather they're very general, and so like I said, would be able to be used by all sorts of different entities. Uh, in addition, in the other project, I was focused so much on creating the core combat system that what I was writing ended up crippling myself when I started to learn how to make all the other systems, such as scene management and saving, which was so confusing to figure out after the fact when I already made so much. So this time I wanted to be able to build the foundations of these systems first. That way, once I started adding more complex combat in the future, I can make the necessary accommodations I need for these systems as I go, which have also been super helpful. As you can see right here, I have some scene transitioning, which can fade in and out very easily. And as you can see, they're linked up to their particular portals of where they're supposed to go to. As well as the one thing I've been particularly pretty proud of being able to figure out, which is this basic saving and loading system, in which my game, as of right now, it has a sort of it has a saving and auto-saving kind of feature right now. So like, say I were to save right here and then fight this guy. Health hasn't been particularly linked up entirely yet, but if, let's say I killed him here, and then I go over here into this scene, and then load back in, he's already, as you can see, the game will sort of auto-save whenever you transition between different scenes or you go through portals, and it will auto-save current state of your game. So, like I said, when you kill this guy and then you transition into another scene, that you killing that guy will stay permanent when you load back into the scene. However, as I said, it's an autosave, so unless you actually click the button to save it, then if you were to load back into the last time that you clicked save, then the autosave will be deleted, and as you can see, it will take in the last actual full save that you had. So there are these auto saves that will sort of keep track of what you were doing within the game before. However, you actually need to fully commit to a save in order to be able to load back into it. These autosaves are just to keep sort of track of like what you do in the game throughout different scenes. However, if you want to load back into it, once you like exit the game and then load, then you have to fully commit to the save. Okay, so I'm going to show you. And this works for outs if you stop the editor too. So like let's say we kill him and then we save, then we can pause it, and then let's say I'm wanted to go to a different scene. Then if I click play in this different scene, what it will actually do is instead, since I have it currently configured, it will load the scene in which you had saved, and so it will load back into here with all with your current progress already done here. I also went to do more things that I wasn't able to take the time to explore before, such as cinema machine for cutscenes, such as like this. It's a very bad one, and I know my cinematography is not really good, but I just wanted to explore it a bit. That way, once I want to do cutscenes, then I'll be able to know how to do that, as well as learning how to make basic terrain like this. And I know it's super basic stuff that's just been like spray painted and looks really ugly, but I just wanted a testing environment before I began to populate it with like foliage or water and things like that. But yeah, this was what I've been able to add back in since the last time. I think the biggest takeaway from this is that I just feel so much more confident now in what I am building. As well as how each of these things sort of fit and interact with each other in the big picture. Thus, I feel like I know exactly what I'm building, and I feel like I can keep moving forward with my work towards making a fully, actually fleshed out game. And I still have some more work I need to do with my save system, but once I do, I'm going to continue adding back in features that I had from the last one, such as fleshing out more of the combat, adding back in the magical abilities, adding in the items in the inventory, range combat, and all that other stuff. But yeah, thanks for the long wait, and I'll see you guys next time.